the main thing, which is not new for many people, is that the businesses are adopting very fast the emerging technologies. We all know it. And the main technologies we are talking about is, of course, the high-speed mobile internet, but also a lot of talk and interest in the artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and cloud technology. Now, incidentally, all these four technologies very much involve the function of finance and accounting. Big data or artificial intelligence or cloud or high speed, it's directly involving with the work we do as finance and accounting professionals. The impact on different industries is slightly different. Now, this is from the report of the World Economic Forum, that if you look at this picture on the right side, it says that robots are coming, but they are coming in different shape and sizes for different industries. So there are 4 industries are listed. I think we fall under the industry of finance, financial services, and investors closest. And over there, you could see that it's related to the humanoid robots. And the prediction is that by 2022, 23% of the businesses would have adopted that robot technology in the financial sector. Most rapidly, or the fastest technology coming, is in the industrial sector. So you see that stationary robots in the industrial setup, warehouses, logistics, supply chain, and also non-humanoid land robots in farming industry, for example, they are coming at 37% and 33%, big numbers. And then there is another industry, aerial and underwater robots, 19%. So 23%, which is applicable to us, is also quite big number. It's 1/4 actually. So in 4 years, out of the total work which is done, 25 or 23% would be taken over by robots. And the early adopters, the companies who are faster and aggressive in adopting this technology, they could reach to 35% by the same time frame. So that's one thing, one trend over dominating everything else. I think we all know it, but the interesting information is that how this adoption of technology is impacting our jobs and our businesses. So I think you also have seen this slide. This is very revealing slide, and it starts with the good news. The good news is that more job would be created than taken away. That's quite a good news. 133 million jobs would be there, and 75 million jobs would eliminate. So there is a net gain of the jobs. But this switch is not coming easily. There is a significant job disruption taking place. A lot of jobs are being eliminated, a lot of jobs are being created, and people, many categories of jobs is going through a disruption. It's a major disruption. And this is all going to happen in the next 4 years. That's very important to really understand. Now, there are certain categories in the top 10 declining roles which really interest us. And I could see that accounting, bookkeeping, and other roles, as well as another category, number 7, is accountants and auditors roles. So that's really interest us in the declining area. And I have another slide to give you more clear description of this change. So this chart is also from the report. And this is a detailed chart describing more jobs and roles in detail. And it is reflecting under the 3 categories: new roles, redundant roles, and stable roles. So there are, of course, a lot of new jobs being created, and some jobs are getting into danger of vanishing out. And then there are roles which would remain stable during this 4 years time period. Now, what I have done, I have looked at all this information, and I try to make sense for the finance professionals like you, that if we look from our point of view in our industry, finance and accounting, what are the possible roles which are emerging, which are redundant, and which are stable? So again, this slide is more like indicative, is not really conclusive. So don't really take that too seriously. I try to use my judgment. I could be wrong in certain categories, but I try to use my best judgment to really identify and give segregate the information to make it more useful and meaningful for you. So of course, CFOs are not going anywhere any sooner, right? So that's one stable role. And then similarly, the people who are also in the similar leadership role in the category of finance director, general manager, and VPs of finance. In many companies, CFOs are actually called GM, VP, or FD. And in some other companies, even these secondary roles are very much closer to the role and responsibility of CFOs. So I think they all fall in the same categories. And I think they are very secure, stable, at least for the foreseeable future. The next big category in the stable roles is finance business partners. Now, again, this is the role which is named differently in different companies, but many roles fall into this category, finance business partners. In fact, a big part of the CFOs and FDs and GMs and VPs is basically the role of finance business partnering. So at the senior level, middle level, even at the junior level in some organization, as long as you have the responsibility and content related to the finance business partnering, which means you deal a lot with the business side, that role is really needed for the foreseeable future. Other than that, some specific categories like data analyst, has been a lot of talk about this role. This would remain there. Business analyst, risk management, compliance. So again, as I said, these are not absolute conclusions. These are the areas like if someone is more involved in the risk management, compliance area, or business analysis, that job would continue to be needed in the profession. Now, there are few categories I'm not sure. I have some question marks. I think they may survive, they may not survive. And these include controllers, treasurers, chief accountant, and chief auditors. And the reason is that if you look at the role of controllers and treasurers in different companies, it's very, very different. It does involve a lot of work related to the finance business partnering, but it also involves a lot of routine work, a lot of repetitive tasks for controllers and treasurers. So depending upon what technology is going to take over and how much work is left, I put a question mark. Same goes for chief accountant. Of course, there are roles which would require the interpretation of IFRS and high-level audit matters. The people would be needed for that, and that same logic goes for chief auditor. Now, the roles which look pretty straightforward for the risk or redundancy is basically the accounting procedural roles. And here, again, let me clarify one more time that accounting manager, finance manager, these roles are very much different in different companies. So I'm trying to generalize this based on the majority of the roles fall into this category. In some company, I know that finance manager is doing a job of CFOs. So it's very different. So don't go by the title. Try to look at the pattern. The pattern is that the jobs which are of repetitive nature, they are not going to survive in the long term. So accounting manager, finance managers, senior accountant, auditors, financial analyst, inventory related jobs, payroll related jobs, ERP support, and cashiers. Now, some of the roles are actually listed in the report as it is. So accountants and auditors are listed there. Financial analyst is listed specifically, and cashier and payroll related are listed over there. So if you look at this chart, these three categories I have tried to highlight, and again, just a qualifier that I could be wrong, but I use my best judgment, tells you the nature and the trend of the roles which would survive and the trend and nature of the role which would not survive. Now, of course, it's very quite worrisome for many people. My advice is that in these times, don't worry about your future role because nobody knows what role you would be doing. Focus on your skills development. I don't know if really in 2050, maybe CFO job is being done by a robot. I don't know. Even 5-10 years, I don't know. And you don't know. So it's very difficult to really predict that what role you would be doing 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But if you focus on your skills development, that's more clear that you would be occupied in some valuable professional role. So that's my first advice or first takeaway. This is another chart from the report that shows the division of labor between humans and machine is shifting fast. So here, I think basically this is a very good criteria to judge and identify that which roles would stay, which roles would go away. Look at the human part and the machine part. So currently, based on the average, 71% of the work is done by human and 29% by machines or robots or computers or technologies. By 2022, this ratio would shift to 42% work done by machines or robots. And by 2025, this would be more than half. So you could see the trend very clearly that machines and robots and technologies are taking over our jobs very fast. And 2025 is more than half. So the criteria for you is to look on your jobs that is it repetitive? Is it routine? If this is the same type of task which can be done again and again, you can't beat robots with the productivity. Robots, these type of jobs, robots and machines can do much better, much accurate, much faster, and much precisely. What we are doing on the human side going forward is more complex jobs. It's more tasks related to innovation and creativity and decision making. And I'll explain more on that part. So that's a very clear criteria. Whatever job you are doing, you can evaluate that from this point of view. This report also highlights, so we are talking about a skill set that we really need to focus on skills. They have listed quite in detail that declining skills and the growing skills or emerging skills. What is important, what is not important going forward. And this is only a summary. There is also very detailed information available. This is a little more detailed, showing the declining skills and trending skills and what is being used today. Now, one thing is very clear, as I said, if you look back the criteria I just discussed with you, the skills which are related to the human nature, skills or talent, are going to survive. So again, I tried to translate those skills for the finance and accounting profession, best of my ability. And I think what is declining, of course, number crunching. Now, this was not listed in the report, but I made it up. I think this is very common among the finance and accounting roles, that this is not going to happen. It's already not happening, but this is definitely clearly not going to happen long. Reporting, that's going to be taken over by the machines and robots. And controlling also. The controlling is a little bit question mark, but if you look back last 10, 15 years, computers are taking more and more part of the controlling, because in automated ERP systems, a lot of controls are built in, and those machines are really getting very sophisticated. So there is less and less you need to do manually. So I would generalize that yes, controlling to a big extent would be taken over by machines. Then management of financial resources. This is a big category. This has been listed in the report as it is. And this means that managing financial resources, recording, managing, keeping, all those things are included in this category. Then management of personnel. So if you are a CFO or accounting finance manager and you have a responsibility to manage people, don't worry, this would not be required. This would be taken over again by the machines or robots from an HR point of view. Technology use, monitoring and control. I know that many companies, there are roles like some people are responsible just to take care of the SAP technology or any other ERP system, and just basically monitor that, and probably it would not be used or required anymore sooner. Now, in the trending skills, and this is a long list, and you could see very clearly the trend here: analytical thinking and innovation, creativity, originality and initiative, critical thinking and analysis, complex problem solving, leadership and social influence, emotional intelligence, reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So I don't know, I cannot really foresee or even visualize a robot taking over the job of emotional intelligence ever, but who knows future. But look at these trending skills and look at the trend. It's all about human skills. It's all about the things which cannot be done by robots and machines and technologies. And we do have roles currently which require of these skills, but basically going forward in future, all we need these type of skills. Everything else is being taken over by computers and robots. And it may not look like that these trending skills listed are all used in finance, but look, finance function and accounting function is going to be very different 10 years from now. And in that 10 years from now scenario, maybe there is no requirement of reporting, controlling, number crunching, or technology being used or monitored by the human being. So it would be very, very different. Now, when I completed this chart or put this chart, the big question in my mind was, Most of us, people sitting in this call, are the qualified professional accountants. You see, all these qualifications look familiar. Many of you are qualified from these institutes. And if you are qualified, on the average, you have spent 4 to 6 years in these studies, right? And then continuing education and continuing development. Why suddenly we are caught in this situation that most of us do not feel prepared for these roles, especially at the junior and middle level? And this has been, I have been talking about these things for long, that we need to change the curriculum. It's not aligned well with the business requirement. And the proof is, it's not my opinion. It's basically supported by the facts. Every day I receive emails, requests from the people who are freshly qualified, chartered accountant, ACCA, CMS, you name it, looking for a job and they need help because they cannot find a job. Not only the freshly qualified, but a lot of experience, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Qualified professional accountant is struggling in the market. There are plenty of jobs available, but businesses are ahead of us. Businesses are not going to hire people with the obsolete skills. So this is really, it's not for you and me. I think it's more for the profession to think about that. How do we really need to reposition ourselves? And how do we need to do things differently? And some ideas I would share in this presentation in the later slides. This is the framework I have been sharing or preaching for the last 5 years. Now, I call it CFO Leadership Competency Framework, but for any finance professional who want to make progress in their career, this is the framework, or this is the template or the guideline for their career. It doesn't list anything about IFRS or technical skills. It's all about your leadership and your strategic leadership and strategic knowledge. That's all makes the difference. So the people who are struggling in the job market, whether they are freshly qualified or they are experienced with 20 years, their experience and qualification do not matter. What really matters is their strategic thinking, is their emotional intelligence, is their work ethics, is their leadership, is their service orientation. And all these skills are now listed on the skills in demand going forward. So many people were aware of it and many people were taking care of it. Those of us who are not really awake, this is the time to really start doing it from today. So this is also from the report, interesting. The report says that with all these changing happening, and if you have not been catching up, by 2022, you need at least more than 100 days of learning and training to catch up what is happening. More than 100 days just on training to be where you could be employed. Quite awakening, I guess. So my second takeaway is that, look, when it comes to the learning, it's not a matter of just going for 2 days training in 6 months or 1 year. Lifelong learning is the new reality. And you don't need to go out of work for 2 days, 5 days. You need to incorporate this learning in your daily schedules. Because honestly, in my opinion, I have been doing training for 20 years. Those 1 day, 2 day, 5 day training you go outside are not working. They are not effective. What is effective is really when you incorporate, when you integrate with your daily life. That is how you learn, and I'll explain that in another slide a little bit more. So as I said, businesses are smarter. They have to be. They are ahead of us. They are only picking up the people who meet their requirement. They were not waiting for this future of job reports. They were smart. So despite there are a lot of jobs available in the market, they are not hiring everyone and anyone. They are picking up people very carefully, only who fit the criteria of the new skills and new roles. And as a result, I shared these slides in the last webinar that the game has changed. Instead of candidates searching for jobs before internet era, now with the power of internet, the more control is in the hands of recruiters and employers. They can make a choice. They know there are a lot of people available, and through the internet they can find them, so they don't need to post the jobs. They look what they need and they go on the internet, make search, and they find the right people. So majority of the people who do not fit, or majority of the candidates who do not fit their criteria, they are frustrated because they are not seeing the jobs available, and then they are not being contacted and called by the recruiters. Recruiters and employers are driving the job search market now. So what is happening actually, if I could take some patterns out of it, 90% crowd, I call it, majority of the people, majority of the professionals, they are living still with the same mindset, the old outdated mindset. First of all, they are looking for entitlement. Look, if I'm looking for a job and I was CFO in my last job and I had 20 years experience, I'm entitled to another CFO position or CFO role. That's my entitlement. If I'm qualified chartered accountant, I'm entitled to a senior position. If I'm a controller working in another company very hard, I'm entitled to really receive a good pay. That's entitlement. Entitlement are false. It's the marketplace. Whoever you are, whatever you have done, it's all decided by the marketplace. When you go into the market, so people who are working in one company, for example, for 20 years, they are isolated. They have no idea where, in which world they are. They are living in fool's paradise. That's why I say, even if you don't want to change job, at least go once in a while in the market, offer yourself and see how the market responds to you, because the marketplace would tell you your real worth. So forget your entitlement. Start afresh. And people not realizing how fast this tsunami is coming. They're not working hard. They're not making effort. And only living in the fear of job security. Yes, there is a fear of job security is real, but you need to do something about it. And they are still hoping, dreaming that one day something will happen. One day they will get promoted. One day they will get this, and all things will change. Their life will change one day. But that one day is not going to happen. I have a bad news for you. The 10% people, now this could be 5%, I don't know, I just make a number, 90% and 10%. 10% of the people who are really making good progress. First of all, to get into the 10% club, you need to take full responsibility of your life. Don't blame, don't complain. You are responsible for everything which has happened in your life. This empowers you actually. Now there may be truth that world is unfair. You might be a victim of that unfairness. That's true. But there is no point of complaining. Nobody's listening. When you take control of your life, it empowers you. At least you are willing to fix the problems in your life. Action-oriented hard work. That's the solution. And think like an entrepreneur. Nothing is easy. Nothing is certain. There is no guarantee of paycheck. That happens with the entrepreneurs every day. So why can't we at least think like an entrepreneur? And growth mindset, you can learn anything. You can change anything at any age of your or stage of your career. And be willing to take some risks. Be adventurer. That's a life. If you don't take risks, you're not going to make much progress and enjoy life. New rules of job search, we last time with this few analysis we did last time, we concluded that three things quickly. I'm not going to much repeat that contents, because even if you missed my last webinar, I think that replay is available somewhere on the LinkedIn or YouTube. You can watch it yourself. But what I want to remind you that there are only three rules for the job search, nothing else. It's very simple and straightforward. First of all, it's not about sending your resumes to every recruiter and every employee you know. That doesn't work. What works? You must be visible. And where to be visible? Online, starting with LinkedIn, which is the main platform. You must be visible over there. Number one. Number two, you're not only visible, you should look attractive to the recruiters and employers. That is how they will initiate the contact. Otherwise, there are 600 million professionals. You need to look attractive. And once they approach you, you look attractive enough and they want to talk to you, you should have the ability to demonstrate what they perceived about you. Because when they look, you are visible, they looked at you and they found you attractive, they created a perceived value in their mind. And the reason they contacted you, they want to ensure, verify that their perceived value is your reality. And usually that is done by interview process. Content. I'm a finance professional. I'm not marketer. I cannot do marketing. Well, this is the new reality. It's inevitable. In the new world, if you're talented, you have to market that talent. I don't suggest you to sell it, because selling is really very aggressive. Not everybody could do it, but at least keep marketing. When we say that you need to make yourself visible on the internet, you have to do a personal branding. That's marketing. That's not selling. Selling is really sending your resumes. Selling is like cold calling. Selling is like anybody who meets you ask for a job. Selling is like someone accept your connection request and the next thing you ask, can I have a job or do you have a job? That's selling. It doesn't work. For a professional like us, the best thing is marketing. And if you don't know marketing, learn it. So resumes are dead. Dead means that you should keep a resume, but only for the purpose when someone contacts you, recruiter or employer, you could provide an updated copy of your resume. Now, again, let me qualify. It doesn't mean that nobody should send resume anywhere. Now, there are still a lot of recruiters working old way, and they're asking for your resume and posting jobs. Keep doing it. What I'm saying here is the fast changing trend that more and more recruiters are not posting jobs, more and more recruiters are not waiting for your resume. They already start searching on their own. And another thing is that this is mostly for the senior roles. The junior roles, you can go to the job boards, and probably there is still a lot of good number of listings over there, and you can apply for those jobs. But senior level jobs, controller, treasurer, C-level jobs, VP, CFOs, senior manager even, those roles fall into this category. So this is what I talked about last time, that your visibility test starts with you. So just go into the Google and search yourself, your own name, and see what comes up. That's your presence. If nothing comes up, you do not exist in this world on the visibility test. So that is where you start. And your personal brand is your attractiveness. How do you make yourself attractive? You can say that, look, I have a certain resume, certain background. What else should I do? Well, you need to really make yourself visible and decorate your profile with achievement and accomplishment, not role and responsibility. That's not what recruiters are looking. They are looking for your achievement and accomplishment. What is different? What you could offer differently. That's what they are looking for, right? And especially your transferable skills. What you could do. If you have an analytical mind, if you have the ability to solve complex problems, you could do the same thing at my business, for example. Irrespective of the nature of the issue, you are smart. Recruiter would be very interested to hire you if you could demonstrate that. And also, to demonstrate your brand, you also need to list some activities outside work. If you don't find many opportunities to reflect on your resume from a work point of view, then see what are you doing outside. Is there any leadership achievement and accomplishment you could demonstrate over there? How active you are on your professional network? How active you are in your professional institute? Have you made any presentations, or did you do any projects? And of course, your position and title also enhance the identity of your brand. And if there is any negative information on the internet, it's also your responsibility to clean that up. And the third key, or the third rule of job search interview, that's basically the game changer or deciding factor. Because in the entire job search process, during the 1 hour interview, when you are sitting with the decision maker and the conversation is going on, just based on the conversation, there a sweet spot comes where they started to feel that you are the right person they are looking for, you are the right candidate. And in that moment, the decision is made to make you an offer. So very carefully look for that spot. And basically, interview is nothing but a verification process, because once you receive the call for interview, keep assured all of your credentials make you qualify for that job. Because if anything is missing on your resume and CV, they wouldn't call you. But if they call you, which means that based on the perceived value, you qualify for the job. It's only your conversation with them which is going to make a difference. I don't think even nowadays anybody during the interview, they verifies documents. Nobody does that. It's just the conversation. Now, how easy it is and how difficult it is for many people, just having a good conversation. So few pointers here. First of all, calm down. It's just a conversation. Practice conversing and develop your energy. That makes a big difference in your interview. And try to show your business knowledge, your knowledge of strategy. Again, I'm not suggesting that for a junior level position, because a junior level position, they might be checking your technical skills. But if this is for a CFO, VP, general manager, controller, they are very interested to know your business knowledge. At that level, they believe that you are competent in financial and accounting things. They don't need to verify those things. If you're a qualified accountant, they know you are an expert. What they don't know, or they are not sure, how much is your business knowledge, how much you understand strategy, how much you could work in alignment with the business partners. So that is what you need to demonstrate, not your IFRS knowledge in those interviews. And rehearse, practice as much as you can. 1 minute stories. Now, based on my own experience, the later part of my career, I had a success rate of interview almost 1 out of 2. If I get an interview, there was 50% chance I would get an offer based on the reality. And these few things, number one, energy. You really need to develop your energy. In fact, I would say 10 times. That makes a big difference. Number two, short stories. Because if you very carefully pick up stories, 1 minute story, 2 minutes, not more than that, and when you explain them, and this is really your story, you get passionate while you're explaining. And when you get passionate describing your story, it makes a very good influence and impact. It's just a conversation. The main thing is, how do you do it? And try to highlight commonalities during the interview. Try to align with the interviews rather than really identifying or highlighting the differences. And please never ever talk about salaries and perks until the offer is made. Even if they want to bring this subject, just tell them that this is not my priority. This is not the number one factor. I want to understand the challenge. I want to understand the organization. This is very strategic or tactful point. This discussion starts when they would make you an offer. And that is the time you gear up, roll up your sleeves to start the process of negotiation. Never accept the offer first instance or immediately. Whenever they make you an offer, it's a different game. You need to first let them wait as long as they can. 3 days usually is acceptable. And then go back with few counter requirements or demands. Now, why it is important to do the negotiation after the offer is made? Because now they are in a very different mindset. First, before the offer, you wanted to sell you to them for the job. After the offer, they wanted to sell you the job. Big difference, right? Okay, so challenges in jobs for many people. Now it's actually doubled with this learning skills as well. Most job seekers have no experience or training in job search, right? It is, they are doing it first time in their life, or maybe second times, or once in a while. So you really need to make a plan or make a strategy for it. And now if we combine this inputs or the takeaways from this World Economic Forum report as well, it really starts with you. Job search is not an external process. It's a process of transformation with you yourself. So for things to change, you have to change. This is Jim Rohn, my mentor. He's not there, but I follow him still a lot. So how do you do your transformation? It starts with you. It starts with your mindset. Because once you change your mindset, everything becomes very easy. Whatever is happening in your life, 90% is because of your mindset. There are only 10% external things. So you need to, many people would not agree because their mindset is different. But if you could change your mindset, believe it, life becomes very powerful for you. And work-life integration, because the nature, the business models are changing, the way roles are changing. There is no better way than really integrate your life. You have one life and it has to be integrated. Then your personal brand, there starts your personal marketing. It's not only that you are the best talented person in the world, nobody knows, doesn't make any difference. So you need to market yourself. Even the best companies like Apple, they have to market their products, only then people buy it. One thing which many people miss in this journey is your peer support, how crucial, how important it is. And I'll show another slide on that. And finally, your expertise, your talent, your knowledge. So when you are working with yourself, that's your journey of personal leadership. When you're working on your brand and external things, that's your public leadership. And your strategic leadership is developing your expertise. This is an integrated journey of transformation for you. Your career strategy is basically, there are a lot of tips available. Creating some self-awareness. The best tool to really do is SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threat. Or in many cases, if you have gone through a process evaluation of 360, that also helps. But you need to spend some time with you to really identify who you are, what you can do, what you cannot do, your identity. And then forget about your entitlements. Take a clean mind, clean start, and accept full responsibility of your life. Don't blame, don't complain. Nobody listens. You are a lot more empowered when you take responsibility. And invest in yourself. So I wrote a blog to people who follow me, mainly finance professionals, and I created an analogy of a P&L and balance sheet, personal P&L and personal balance sheet. And who could understand this concept better than finance professionals? The reality is that most of the professionals are only looking at your P&L, my revenue, my profit, my revenue, my profit, my cash flow. They are completely ignoring their balance sheet. Balance sheet is your long-term strategy. Balance sheet prepares you for future. Balance sheet makes you powerful for the future challenges. So this is the time to start building your balance sheet for long term. Invest in yourself. Spend time with yourself. It's your intrinsic value which is more important, not your roles and responsibilities. If you are titled CFO, that doesn't mean anything because you would lose job one day. But if you have intrinsic value, market would always value you, respect you. So our next takeaway, work-life integration is the only way going forward. If you are not working on yourself and only looking for a job, probably it's not going to work for you, and you are going to get more frustrated. So start with yourself. You need to be a little bit patient. Integrate your life, your personal life, your family life, and your work life. This is all integrated. Now let me take a step back and clarify. Many people have the misunderstanding that work-life integration is equivalent to workaholism. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have been living that life for all of my life, and my family is witness. It's not about workaholism, it's about priorities. Running your life by priorities. Now, sometimes your family priorities are there, personal priorities, sometimes work priorities are there. And you go by priority. So if your family is calling, of course you need to attend that if that is more important. But many times or sometimes work is more important and you have to make some personal and family sacrifices. That is the only way to go forward successfully with work-life integration. Networking, many people get overwhelmed with the word of networking. In my personal and humble opinion, networking today is a lot easier than in the past. So in the past, the only way to go to the networking meetings, and even going one meeting, you would waste more, at least half of your day. Today, you don't have to do that. LinkedIn is a very resourceful platform, and I often quote my own example. When I started this Mecca CFO platform, I only knew 4 people in Dubai, 4 people. And those 4 people were basically the employees of the company I was working in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Today, my network comprises of 28,000 professionals all across the world. And I could tell you that I have built that all on LinkedIn. Today, I'm running my own coaching business, and it's all running on LinkedIn. I don't call many people. I don't meet many people. My travel is significantly reduced, but I do a lot of networking. I'm busy. I'm talking to hundreds of people every day. I'm busy. That's a lot for easier because I could also share with you earlier part of my life or even today, I'm a sort of introvert, really. And I still hesitate to go outside external and meet strangers. But this makes me very comfortable talking to you here, sitting from my home, and probably you're sitting in your home. We are effectively communicating, right? we are effectively networking. So networking is a lot more easier. And probably I will do a separate webinar on LinkedIn sometime, but LinkedIn, invest yourself into LinkedIn. That's a resource. LinkedIn is the place where is your next job. LinkedIn is the place where your next boss is sitting. LinkedIn is the place where the people who would report to you in future are there. LinkedIn has the place where your next opportunity is, whether you are business or employed. So new realities, first of all, that look, not only the roles are changing, the skill set demand is changing, but we are expected to really change jobs 12 to 15 times, especially for the younger professionals, millennials. And that's normal. My father worked for one company for 40 years. That's not going to happen ever again. So keeping employable, which means keeping marketable, is more important than being employed. You would lose a job for some at some point of time, your fault or no fault. People will lose jobs. Important thing is that they are marketable and employable. Personal marketing, as I said, inevitable. Personal branding. So another challenge for many people is that, look, if I go to LinkedIn, there are 600 million people. How do I make myself visible and noticeable? Well, it's your personal branding. Bad news is, yes, it's very challenging, hard work. Good news is not many people are doing it. So if you join the 10% club, you're only competing with 10%, not 90%, right? That's an opportunity. But if 90% all of them wake up, it would become difficult for you to do something now before everybody wakes up. This is your opportunity. And loyalty with your profession. Don't forget your profession or your peers network. While you are busy with your family and life and work and you have nothing else, keep in mind that your professional network in between is very important and very crucial. So the way you attract opportunity and don't chase job is really, from employing point of view, from recruiters point of view, the best candidates are those who are not searching actively. Now putting labels on your profile like actively looking for a job, actively searching for a job, urgently need a job, that shows your desperation. And that makes you somewhat unqualified for the recruiters to really contact. Now, again, don't take me wrong. I'm not saying this is absolutely right. There are cases where recruiters may also contact you, but generally it's not happening. I'm generalizing, and again, for the senior level roles. So you need to ensure that you are visible and you are found somewhere on the internet. Your LinkedIn profile, I think I have talked about it, so let me pass this. Yeah, I just want to reiterate this LinkedIn dating process I call as it is. So LinkedIn dating process, I call it because many times, I'm sure many of you also face the situation that someone sends you a connection request and you accept it and I request it. And the next thing they do is that, do you have a job for me? How do you feel about it? Sometimes I feel just unfriending with them. I don't do that, but I feel like that. How could I provide a job? So LinkedIn, searching for a job on LinkedIn or network is like a dating process. You need to be patient and you need to be smart how to play the game. So there are 10 steps. I shared this earlier, but I recently updated it. So this is an updated one, so pay attention here. So you just look at the view, you view the profile. So this is also part of your LinkedIn networking. So you spend every day half an hour or a couple of hours on the weekend and you view different things, post, comments, you like it, you make comments, you follow some people you want to, you connect with them. And once you connect with them, either they send you a request or you send a request, you start conversation. So this is the time to really get acquaintance with each other, not asking for a job. So start conversation. And then depending upon the nature of the relationship, try to provide value. And value doesn't mean that you have to provide something tangible. You could provide some information they're looking for, or just voluntary information which may be relevant to them, and they will see some value. And then share at appropriate time, share your accomplishment, what you have done in life, what you have done in jobs. So basically, you are indirectly introducing yourself with them, providing, so connecting, conversation starting, then providing value and sharing accomplishments, right? In my previous version, the process stopped here. I further extended based on today's situation. It's not enough. then provide more value. Keep providing more value, not once, but keep providing it as much as you can. And keep sharing your accomplishment, keep sharing, making references indirectly. And only then you can ask for a referral and recommendation, not a job. You never ask directly for a job. That makes you, most of the cases, disqualified. You only ask for referrals and recommendations. Now, realize one thing here. By several iterations of providing value and sharing accomplishment, you have basically already communicated to them that you are a top or good candidate and you're looking for a new opportunity, right? That's good enough. That's good enough. Because if they really believe you are a good candidate and they have an opening, they will come themselves to you. Believe me, you don't have to ask for it. You only indirectly communicate with them that you are a good candidate and you're searching for a job. And the most you could do or ask is referrals. That look, that company, for example, has an opening, and I was wondering that if you know anyone, that's easier for people to really entertain your request. When you say that I'm looking position in IBM, and maybe I thought that you could know something, they will actually do that favor to you if they know something. But basically, your purpose is to make them aware that you are in the search, you're in the job market. But never make the mistake of directly asking, do you have a job for me? I have not seen in my entire life, especially in these times, people getting job by asking for a job directly. But I have seen a lot of examples and instances where people were indirectly searching and other people came forward and made them offer. So time is really most valuable. So you need to really take care of time. Now, the reality is that if you meet 10 people and ask $500, probably all 10 of them would run away because you ask $500. But if you ask half an hour of time, probably 7 or 8 of them would be willing to give you. They don't realize how valuable your time is, much more than 500. So change that mindset. And life is short. Here's a quick overview of life. As I said, you need to integrate your work life. So this is our life. And most of us, the quality of life we are enjoying, we are expected to live up till 85. Don't worry that the statistics in your country is very different. We are not talking about the country. I'm talking about the population segment we represent, and we enjoy quality of life. So 85 is pretty normal in today's time to expect that. Now, in that long life, we have a productive life career-wise. So that starts somewhere like early 20s, goes up to early 60s, right? 40 years, long time again. But within that long time of 40 years, there is only a critical portion of 20 years. Somewhere it starts 30s and ends by 50 or mid 50s, right? That is the critical part of your career where you make a difference. And I could tell you, probably most of you listening to me here fall into that category, somewhere plus minus 40. And most of the professionals like you reach to the peak of their career when they are in their early 40s. So not much time is left. Life is long, but you don't have much time left to make a difference. Two important things. So if you are around the middle, what are you going to do today for the rest of your career and life? Now, no matter what you do, because of the supply and demand, you are going to take an exit from the corporate by 60, 65, which means that you have another 20, 25 years to live. What are you going to do during that segment? Are you going to just retire, happy retired life? Well, let me share one fact with you. In USA, the active senior level managers and professionals who retire looking forward for a relaxed, happy life, spending on vacations and beaches, they die in 5 years only. Just 5 years they die. So the feeling that you are no more useful for this world is killing. Don't plan for that. Maybe you could start a second career. Maybe you would do something else. Find out. You know it better what you want to do in your active corporate life and after that. So your career plan actually is not a work plan. Your career plan is a roadmap to achieve your life vision. That's work-life integration. So make it part of your life. So this is what I was talking about, that for most of us who are very basically busy in their jobs day and night, workaholics, we know only two things, work or family, and that's it. Well, to spend a life in a balanced and meaningful manner, Your peer network is very, very crucial in between. Quality of life. This is the life. What you are living today, this is the life. This is the quality of life you need to ensure. There will be no one day something will happen, you will start living life. No, you are living it today. Make it change happen today. So you need to ensure a peer-to-peer network, because that's the main emotional and social support you need in this very tiresome journey of your work and career. So interestingly, if you look at this diagram, you will see two sides. From family to work, work is temporary. Work is always temporary. Family is permanent, always permanent, right? That's one dimension. The other dimension, if you look, work is more rational, logical. Family is more emotional. We don't use logic. I mean, if there's a relationship is mainly emotional, you are committed to your family, right? No logic, no rules. You are just committed. But work is temporary and work is logical and rational. So in situations when you don't have a job, you need a lot of emotional support. Family is always with you. Those companies who call you a family, when the financial crisis happens, this is the first thing they fire people, right? So that's not true. Work is work. Work is temporary. There is no family. It's a work relationship. Peer-to-peer network or your social network is neither temporary nor permanent. It's neither emotional nor rational. That's a balance you need, right? They are friends, they are committed more than your work colleagues, but they're also not your kids or your siblings to really make a lot of sacrifice for you or big sacrifices. Similarly, your relationship with work is completely logical, rational, and with family is emotional, but with friends is somewhat rational, somewhat emotional. That's a balance you need. So peer-to-peer support through structured networking is key. And one example of this network, if it is not clear to you, I want to give you that from the Mecca platform, and now this is our third year going very well with more and more people getting involved. So once you get into the Mecca CFO, it's not that you attend a training program and you go away. You stay there with the network. So with the strategic CFO program, which we introduced last year, 130 people have qualified. They are all part of a group. So this is a very active group on LinkedIn and WhatsApp. And these people are like-minded. They keep talking between themselves. They're chatting between themselves. They're sharing issues and finding solutions and helping each other. So many of them, they are all global, by the way. So many of them wanted to meet face to face. They are so getting close. So we established the strategy summit for them today. So we are doing it on 1st and 2nd December in Dubai. And the idea here is that basically it's not a company conference, it's not a private gathering, it's somewhere in between, professional. All these people know each other. Some of them have met each other, some of them have not, but this would be in person. So they would be meeting, and this 2 days would serve as a learning and practicing platform. So many of you are in senior position, you have opportunities to practice your leadership. Many of you don't have those opportunities at your work because of the nature of your role or company. This is the place you come and you meet with CFOs, you meet with vice president, you meet with other people who are your level, maybe some junior people. And what we do, we try to engage and involve everyone into it. Everybody has an opportunity to speak and present to 70, 80 people over there. Everybody has a chance to practice leadership, debate, talk with each other, and also peer-to-peer networking and photo sessions and videos for your personal branding. This is the value we are creating. You don't get from your work or from your family, but this is an essential part of your work and personal life. So that's an example of the peer-to-peer network. I would like to share a very important concept with you here for a couple of minutes, which you need to understand. Because all of you are matured adults, and we are at a point, at a juncture, where we have to make some important decisions for our life and for our career. So look at this picture. It is basically showing the different parts of human brain. And usually there are three parts or three names for it: unconscious mind, subconscious mind, and conscious mind. Now, take the analogy of a computer and think of these three layers like a computer. So unconscious mind is the basic system, which is equivalent to your operating system like Windows or iOS. That's basic. Your life runs by your operating system. Subconscious mind is more like your hard drive. This is where all of your life events, life memories are accumulated, all of your life, right? And conscious mind is the one where you live your life. You actively process your thinking. This is where we live. When we go to sleep, our conscious mind go to sleep as well, but our subconscious mind and unconscious mind keep awake. Now, what happens in the childhood when you started to grow? When a child is born, there is an empty hard disk. There is nothing in it. That is why if you talk to your young child, whatever you tell them, they believe it, right? Natural process. As you started to grow, you go through school and college and start work, your memory started to get filled up. And now if you are grown up adult, someone talks to you something which is not logical, you debate it, you argue it, because every talk, every decision you are making is taking references from your hard drive. All the experiences, all the memories you have accumulated in your hard drive are basically being processed. Like when you're processing something on your computer all the time goes back and forth between hard drive. Whenever it needs some data or software, it goes to hard drive, pulls it back, process and send it back. That happened in our lifetime. Now, it is also said that from a learning point of view, it's very easy to learn when you're a young child. True, because the same reason that you don't have much hard data on the hard drive to interfere. But when you are grown up, matured adult, you lose the tendency to learn faster. You can learn, but not as fast as quickly as a young child, right? Now we are here today, all of you are matured adult, and we are talking of changing world, and we are talking of changing roles, and we are talking of learning new skills. How could you do that? As I said, the traditional ways like going to a 2-day training, not working. If you don't believe, just go for 1-day training on emotional intelligence. You will get some good information, and the next day you will forget everything, right? That doesn't work. What you could do, and this is from expert, that in this situation where you want to learn faster and you don't have whole life available to learn slower, so you need to learn faster. What could you do in this situation? That you create interventions. You create interventions to intervene with your hard drive data, to intervene with your conscious mind and make changes. Examples of the intervention is when you go through a deep experience. For example, at one point of time, I was in a very crazy mood of learning, increase as much as leadership and self-development. So I became a very loyal student of Tony Robbins. Now, Tony Robbins is the best guru in the world for personal development, and probably he's also the most expensive one. I bought his most expensive program for self-development. That was 7 days, continuous, day and night. That was an intervention that changed my mindset entirely. Now, I could have all those knowledge read in a book or some professor explain me, that wouldn't have made a difference. With that 7 days workshop, day and night, with 2,000 other people, that changed my life. That was an intervention, right? When we are bringing the strategy finance professionals to this strategy summit for 2 days in a hotel, that's an intervention. When you go through a strategy program for 3 months or 6 months, that's an intervention. So let me take you to the point. So this is Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman is the living legend, is the best expert in the world on the emotional intelligence. And he basically explained this thing, which I learned only last year, and I was amazed. What he said, very logical, very understandable. He said that, look, we as a mature adult, we live our life with left brain, logical brain, right? So anything logical, you go through, you buy a new product, you go through the operating manual, and you get it very quickly, right? The problem is when it comes to the leadership, changing habits, it's not the left brain. So my favorite example is going to gym. Now, when someone talk to you that you should go to gym, you have no debate. It's logical. You immediately agree that, yet I should go and I will go to gym from tomorrow, right? Logical, left brain. Next morning you get up, it's not left brain anymore. It's a right brain, your emotional brain, which is making problems now, right? And most probably, if you have not created in a structure, your right brain interferes and does not let you go to the gym. So point here is, according to the Goldman, that when it comes to the leadership things, leadership habits, which includes emotions like passion and drive and commitment and loyalty and trust, it's all our right brain. And right brain learns differently. Right brain does not work like left brain. Right brain is very slow. Right brain takes time to understand these things. That was really a discovery for me because I have been in the training business. I have learned myself a lot and I wanted to teach other people. So just pay attention here that it's not the left brain. You need to give time. Based on that, I changed the pattern and format of the training program I offer. I used to do corporate training, for example, 1 day or 2 day. I stopped doing those trainings because they don't work. I feel ashamed because for me, it's not only giving one-way lectures. For me, it's creating results. And I didn't see the results. So I not only stopped doing corporate trainings, I changed the format of my training completely from Maka CFO Academy. And just to give you a few glimpses to make my point, these are 18 strategy books. Now, of course, you have the technical capability to go through these books maybe in 18 days or 18 weeks. But would it make a difference? Probably not. What we did, we took all these 18 books, I personally, because I have about 50 strategy books in my home library, and translated them in a way where I could teach the people like you in my CFO strategy program. And that become much more learnable because then again, we don't do it 1 day or 2 day. We do it all 12 weeks, 12 modules. So that's one way that you need to take the information and give yourself time to really understand and digest it. Then in the same program, we go through case studies, real life cases. You see the name of the company. These many 15, 20 cases we discuss in this program. So not only learning the concept, but also relating to the real world. And also peer groups. So these people are not working in isolation. Even if it's an online discussion, they work together. 1 week they are having discussion and interaction with me. Next week they are discussing themselves. It really enriches their learning process. So you need to really decide at this point that who you are. You're already part of the 90% or 10%, or even if you think you have been part of the 90%, can you make a decision now to become part of the 10%? Because that starts with a self-decision and commitment. And before I jump into the question and answer session, I also want to introduce this program, or rather offer you this program I have been talking about. So those of you who are very keen to develop themselves from a leadership point of view could consider this program. So this is called Prospective CFO 2020 program. We take 3 areas in this program: strategic leadership, personal leadership, public leadership. So this all fits with the framework I shared with you earlier. The intensity of the program is not 1 day, 2 day. You can see here the contents. 12 online lectures, which are basically 90 minutes each. So we cover that 12 weeks, and then 12 live online interactive session with me. That's about 2 hours each. So this is about more than 50 hours of work. That's one strategy part only. On the personal leadership, we have 150 online lectures. The people go on their own, 150, and 150 on the public leadership. So these are small 5 to 15 minutes lecture. People go on their own, and if they have questions, they can discuss on the live session. So this type of work requires 4 to 5 hours per week. So if you think you can afford it, this is a good fit for you. And it involves assignment, exercises, quizzes, weekly peer study group sessions, ongoing discussions, blah, blah. So it's a very enriched program. And this also includes the 2-day strategy workshop in Dubai. Program objectives are basically, first of all, to prepare you for a CFO role. So that's our benchmark, that you need to be developed to a level where you could be considered for a CFO level at some point of time. And if you are already 1 level away or 2 level away, that could happen in next 2 to 3 years. It provides you opportunity for the peer-to-peer network platform. It develops into your strategy expert, so you can talk during interview process about business and strategy deeply. It helps you to promote your personal brand. The only criteria we keep here for entering in this program, that you must be a qualified professional accountant, CA, CPA, CCA, whatever, and also minimum 10 years of experience in accounting, finance, or audit. That's a criteria. Curriculum, I will send you this copy of the slide so you can look at that, but look at the leadership part only. So under personal leadership, there are 6 topics. We cover month by month. So in 6 months, we cover 6 topics. Then in the public leadership, 6 topics, we cover another 6 months. That is how this program takes 12 months. And each topic has contents of about 75 to 90 minutes, each topic. This is the curriculum for the strategic CFO program. So you can say this is based on my ideology of value creation, and it covers very comprehensively all the top strategy models applied by today's best companies. So whether it's not about whether your company would ever apply this or not, it's about developing yourself, equipping yourself. Look, world is not a restaurant, world is a cafeteria. And what does it mean? It means that when you go to a restaurant, you can order your food, eat food, enjoy it, and then pay the bill. World is not restaurant, world is cafeteria. On cafeteria, you go and order the food first. Before you could eat, you have to pay the bill. That's the world we are living in. So people who are waiting that once I become a strategic CFO, then I will learn all these things, it's not going to happen. You need to develop yourself first. You need to make yourself offered first, then the world will respond to you. So this is part of your own development and learning. Now let me come to the point, what I'm offering you today. This is an opportunity only for the audience or people sitting in this call. So I'm starting the next batch. Actually, this is the seventh batch in little over 12 months. So this is starting from this Saturday. I have a couple of seats left. Normal program fee for strategy CFO program we charge is $1,470. You could pay one time or in 6 installments. For leadership program, the fee is $1,164. You can pay $97 per month for 12 months. And the 2-day strategy summit is $495. Altogether, these three things would cost you $3,129, 3 programs, which basically the bundle of prospective CFO. Now, why I bundled it, because many people wanted to go through this training and all of three are very critical. So I said, why not make a bundle offer, more economical, more affordable, so more people could attend it. So what we are going to do, we'll offer you 40% discount on these prices. So you only pay $156. I believe that is very affordable. For 12 months, total $188.72, but you will be paying 12 months. And 12 months, the course will continue. Networking will forever. So that's not going to end ever. If you could pay one time, I will pay you additional 15% discount. So $1,591 you pay one time, and you are good to go for the 1-year program along with a lot of networking and peers. This is almost 50% if you pay one time, $1,591. And you can, if it is, you don't find a good fit for you, there are 30 days. You can just return it. Even I think in the system, you could go on your own and cancel the subscription. You don't have to even send an email to me or Sabah or to talk to anyone. Cancel yourself and refund would be sent to you 30 days. So you could test the program if you're not sure. Now, today I'm doing something special. Today, what I'm doing, that if you join this program today or tomorrow, because I'm starting from Saturday and I said I have few seats left, I would offer you a free one-on-one career coaching session. So this would be in addition to all the offer included in the program. But if you enroll today and tomorrow before the seats run out, I will sit with you one-on-one and go through your career, go through your resume, go through your positioning, go through your job, go through your ambition, and try to help you with your career strategy. Now, this could be a game changer for your life, because when I talk to people, I really look deep inside their career and trying to share all those things which I learned in my long career. So this is a very good opportunity, which is only available for enrollment today and tomorrow. And if you want to enroll, you could go to the Makkah CFO Academy website. I think many people know that website, but if you don't, just search Google Makkah CFO Academy and it will come up. You go on the web program page of prospective CFO and you can enroll. You can pay $156 to get enrolled, or you can pay $1,591. As soon as you get enrolled, you will have access to those videos part, and I think it would be in time to send you the invitation to join me on the live call this Saturday. Okay. So before we jump to the Q&A, let me just give you a summary of the 5 takeaways we talked in this call, in this session. This is just a reminder for you, or for you to really wrap up. What are you taking away from this session? Number 1, don't worry about your future roles. Focus on your skills development. That's number 1. Don't get overwhelmed. Just develop yourself, number 1. Number 2, lifelong learning is the new reality. And you need to really don't go 1 or 2 days training, but incorporate this thing into your daily schedule, and also incorporate your time and money as well. Number 3, personal marketing is inevitable. If you don't know, learn it. Google it and learn it. You'll find a lot of resources. Peer-to-peer support and networking is key. That would basically a support structure that would help you keep going on. And finally, work-life integration is the only way going forward. Believe me, you may agree or disagree. You could do your research. This is the gist of my life and my career. Work-life integration is the only way going forward in the current scenario and environment. So folks, that's all from my side. I appreciate you have been listening very patiently, and I see a lot of comments and questions. So let me try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, so let me start in the same sequence you put in your questions. And I'll call the name unless you have told me that it's private. So Ehsan Siddiqui, ACC has changed its curriculum and introduced a paper called Strategic Business Leader, which includes all the emerging skills. Yeah, you're right. Not only ACCA, a lot of other institutes have also done some work. But to me, what is required in the marketplace is only a lip service. And again, the proof is that a lot of freshly qualified people are still looking for jobs. So I think they are moving in the right direction, but it's a long journey. It's a long thing they have to overcome and add, and basically require the revamp of the whole curriculum. Hamad Haq, with respect to redundant roles, what are the replacement expected? Is it ERP? If yes, when finance position will? Good question, Ahmad. So we don't know. For finance and accounting roles, basically, the means which would replace it definitely looks like ERP. But the way technologies are coming, you don't know in 2 years what will happen. What would be devices? There would be robots sitting in the accounting department. I don't know. We already see that flying cars and driverless cars, which nobody thought a few years ago. So things are happening faster than we can imagine. So I don't know, but some technology would be there. Ehsan Siddiqui is asking, what will be the future of CAs and who have completed articleship as an auditor and then spent a considerable amount of time as a senior accountant or chief accountant? So Ehsan, nothing to worry about. I mean, yes, the direction is changing. Whatever you have done, I think that would be a good resource and knowledge. What is more important that now you have to build up the skill set which is required. So, for example, you are traveling on a highway and there are two options for you to move in the right direction or left direction, and you see there is a storm coming on the right direction. Obviously, you would move to the left direction. You would not just stop there and keep thinking and considering. That is what is happening. The future direction is a little bit changing. So don't regret what did you do or what you did not do. Think about what you could do today, what direction you have to move on, and that is more important. Vishal is asking, auditors in the context is internal or external? I would say both, because if we are going to use the devices or systems which have built-in controls, this will work both with internal auditors as well as external auditors. The external auditors, as you can see, they're already using certain softwares to speed up their work or make it easier for them. Sivaraman Sundarsan, are you referring to the transactions-oriented roles getting rid of? Of course, of course. I think for the last 90 minutes, I'm talking about the transaction-oriented roles or repetitive roles. Usama Muhammad, with the advancement in technology, here are many finance-related tools being introduced in the market. How these tools are changing the role of finance professionals? How do professionals need to equip themselves to excel in the changing time ahead? Yeah. So yes, there are a lot of stuff available in the market in the name of the dashboards and analytics. Some are good, most are not good, most are just marketing gimmicks. But we are not talking about these systems available currently in the market. We are talking about the future technologies. And future technologies are coming again in different shape and sizes, in different forms. We don't know what would be the thing which would really replace us or replace many professionals. Criteria is that you need to think, again, as I said, advise you during the discussion, look at your role and see if it is repetitive, routine, the same thing you're doing again and again. And if that is the case, probably that would be picked up by some robots. So you need to look for a role or look for the skill set which are more related, more requiring innovation, problem solving, creativity, where you have to do things differently every day, where you have to think a lot, where you have to deal with other human beings as well. So these are the general guidelines. It's very difficult. As I said, that's why I said, don't worry about the roles. Just look at the skill set, because you don't know what would be the roles defined in future. But if as long as you have the skill set, you would be in good shape. So this is private question. In case a person is rejected in an interview, how do we get a proper feedback so that we can improve for the next interview? Now, unfortunately, there is no feedback. Many times when you are rejected, even they don't tell you. And even if you ask them, they wouldn't tell you. You need to be smart enough to understand from your own experience or learn from other people what is working, what is not working. Like I shared with you few pointers and few techniques which could work. But let me tell you one thing. Getting success in the interview is not a secret. Probably you already know the 90% stuff. What really requires is preparing yourself. Most of the time, people who are looking to develop some skill, they are looking for the short tricks. What should I do to really be successful? No, you need to work hard. You need to practice your conversation. You need to rehearse the story you have to tell to the interviewers. You need to practice bumping up your energy. That's all required to be successful. So I wouldn't say that it is some secrets you are looking for. You need to do a lot of hard work, and with some trial and error, I'm sure you will make a lot of progress. Majid Khan is asking what to do when their first question is salary. It was asked by a bank president in an interview for CFO position. CFO, very good. So at that level, believe me, if you delay that question, just tell them that, look, salary is not important for me. Your organization is very prestigious. I really want to work here. I'm really interested in a challenge. They will see you very differently. In fact, your perceived value in their mind would significantly go up, that you are not showing an interest in salary, but the responsibility. So I think CFO senior level, it works very well. Even if they're asking, just show no interest as if you're not interested. Now, this is contrary to reality. It could be, but this is a good tactic to really handle and make progress. Suhail Fazal, in the interview process, I get asked salary. That is, can we afford you? No, again, don't bring that topic. I mean, they will bring it. They will try to screen you out as soon as possible. And you want to remain in the game as long as possible. So the best idea is that don't give any conclusive answer. Show your openness. Tell them that, look, it really depends on a lot of things. I cannot give you a number right now, but I'm very interested in this opportunity. Practice some conversation like that, and I think it would play very well for you. Usman Zia is asking how to convince recruiters that you want to change sectors, say from retail to NGO or manufacturing. So, Usman, it's not about you. You could advertise, you could tell you want to change sector. They are not interested. They are only interested in your skill set. So, what you need to do, you need to demonstrate how your skill set can be applied in the new sector if that is what you are looking for. But if you're simply telling I want to change the industry, nobody's interested. For example, I changed industry myself at one point of time. I worked for Philips Electronics, which was the manufacturing company for 16, 17 years. I had a lot of experience on the black belt and Six Sigma. Then I got hired by a large major bank here. Now, why did they hire me from a manufacturing company? Because they were looking for Six Sigma experience. They had large mortgage processing centers and they wanted to apply the manufacturing techniques over there in terms to improve efficiency. They hired me as vice president. Okay, next question from Jeff Beldock. So if you are out of work and seeking new role, how to show that on LinkedIn? Yeah, good question. My suggestion is that don't show your status as unemployed or doing nothing. Now, smart people would already judge that you are unemployed. But a professional and respectable way is to show that you are doing some consulting, you're doing some training, you are busy with professional friends doing some startup, show that you are doing something productive. You are not completely ideal, although you may be ideal. So it's part of your personal branding that shows that you are such a person that never sit idle. You are always doing something. If there is no job, you are training other people, you are coaching them, you are doing some consulting, you are busy with the venture capitalist doing something, or with your friends doing a new startup, something like that. Okay, next question, private again. On LinkedIn, we have to mention, are you actively looking? Are you waiting for the best opportunity? What is the best option to choose to not show any desperation? Yeah. So the best way is really to show that you are open to new opportunity, but you are not actively searching, because actively searching never helps. Honestly, in my opinion, it never helps. It only shows your desperation. The best candidates are those who are open to new ideas, but they are not desperately looking. That is the best positioning you could show for yourself. Venkatasan, is it okay to post one's CV in LinkedIn? Look, LinkedIn itself is your CV. So yes, you can post it somewhere. Not many people would look, but consider that traditional CV is dead. People start with your profile. They don't start with your CV or resume. So what you could show on your profile to look attractive, and of course they would come to the CV later on, but start with your profile. And it's the answer to your question. It doesn't hurt to post your CV as well. Private question again, what is meant by personal brand? Oh my God. So I think you should just Google it. Go on the Google, search personal brand, and I think 1 trillion results would come. Go through a few of them and you will get a very good idea. Sabir Muhammad, I'm senior engineer. How I can benefit from this program? Well, my target segment is really finance professionals, but I think you must have realized that the things I'm sharing are applicable to the 90% other professionals, whether you are a marketing, you are engineering, because my focus is strategy and leadership. So there have been people from outside finance who have joined my program. You could look in more detail and see for yourself. But I think end of the day, if you join, you would definitely get a lot of benefit from this program, from a leadership and strategy point of view, and job search and career, of course. Vishal is asking, what roles does internal auditors will have in futures? I don't know. It will change. Again, go back to the criteria I shared with you, repetitiveness and the innovation, and try to look for something which requires your innovation and creativity. And that would be the answer. So let me see, there are a couple of more. So let me also see if I could answer that. So Shakil is asking how robots into the future workforce will impact the role of future leaders. Good question, Shakil. And it's really uncertain. I would say that, look, let's get on the macro level. And let's assume that in 4, 5, 10 years, a lot of jobs are going to be taken over by robots, right? That's a reality, looks reality. Many people believe that. What would happen with all the people who are displaced by robots? Are they sitting at home or doing nothing? I'm sure they would be employed somewhere else. So there is also a very interesting idea in the World Economic Forum report. They expect that there is a lot of transition going to happen. Look, on a very rough level, all drivers are going to be jobless sooner or later with driverless cars. Now, there are 12 million drivers in US only, 12 million. Now, once the driverless cars and trucks become reality, what do you think those 12 million people are going to do? Must be doing something else, right? And that's the responsibility of the bigger organizations and entities like employers, create a talent or skill transition, uh, government agencies to really create opportunities. So there is a lot of emphasis on training and development. This is what I'm trying to do. That look, rather than be fearful that your role is going to be eliminated or evaporated, look at what is the opportunities available. So once you look at the opportunities, I'm sure a lot of people would be employed in roles which is difficult to visualize and imagine at this point of time. So my answer is that yes, people would be around doing something and leaders would be around doing something, but how? It's difficult to answer at this point of time. Next question is from Mohammad Waris. AI or BI depends on investment by companies, how to use and implement our learning practically if these days company focus on cost saving. Good question, Boris. So this goes back to the argument that whether as a professional, whether you should depend on your employer for your career growth or you should take charge yourself. And you are right. Trend among the companies is that they are saving money. They are not investing a lot in the career, in the development of their employees. So you have a choice, especially again, what we are talking about the senior roles. Honestly, you don't have time to wait for your employers because even if they do something, it would be quite small, sure. If you have ambition to really grow up your role faster, whatever you deserve, you need to take matters in your hand and you need to invest in yourself. Now, one of the major characteristics of my programs I offer from the CFO Academy, 90 or 95% people come with their own investment. Believe me. Now, it's easier for me to go to the corporates because they have big pockets and make a deal with them to send people in large numbers. I don't want those people because the people who are sent by their corporate or companies as nominations, they come to the training as their vacation. They are having some good time outside work. I don't want those people. I really want to work as a team, as a project with you to really create results. So I like those people who come with their own commitment. And what commitment could be better than investing your own money and time? So all these people work with me in my training programs. They are very, very committed, very hardworking, result oriented, and they are making very good progress. Mohammed Imran Khurshid, I have already enrolled in CFO 2020 a couple of weeks ago, means I can get person to person interaction with Saleem. We can talk separately, Imran, about that. There is one last question. Let me take that as well. So I'm fully exhausted from my side. That's a private question. What would be the future of career in offshore roles being shifted out of leading economies such as US, UK, etc., considering a shift back to local market protectionism by developed economies? So it's a good question. It all depends upon the nature of the industries. So there are various considerations when it comes to different industries. Some are looking for talent, some are looking for cost reduction, some are looking for other factors. So mass industries like industrial manufacturing, they would go to the place where the labor is available. This is what is already happening. A lot of industries have moved to China for the same reason. But for high caliber industries where high caliber talent is required, they would try to move to the areas where the talent is located, or they would try to migrate the talent, or they would try to develop the talent themselves. So for high profile professional, I was saying there are multiple opportunities, which is also true today, that either you are picked up by a company as a good potential and they would train and develop you with the companies like GE and Motorola do, or you could develop yourself into those roles and be available for local or offshore rules. So there are no clear pattern right now. It would really all depends upon how the technology is taking shape, how the landscape emerges for different industries. But I think those high profile professionals would remain valuable one way or the other, especially those who are focused on the human part of innovation and creativity. Okay, so I think I ran out of questions today. So folks, thank you very much. I think this was useful for you. And let me remind you that if you really want to join me from this Saturday, then I'm not sure how many seats are left, but I'll check that later. Go to the CFO Academy website, enroll yourself by making $56 payment or $15.91, and you would be in the program, and then we'll go together for the rest of your career development. Thank you very much, and good night now. Thanks. Bye.